I'm the long-lost, real heiress. When my birth parents found me, they had the girl who'd been living my life for 17 years with them. I was in a club, dressed to kill, screaming my head off and hyping up the crowd. The look on their faces was complicated. They instinctively pulled the quiet, beautiful girl beside them closer. Half an hour ago, I was just some hard-living party girl making a living hyping up crowds in a club. Half an hour later, I was the long-lost daughter of Mark Song, the richest man in the city. In the VIP room, four people sat stiffly, with a quiet, beautiful girl who looked like a princess at their center. A regal-looking woman with teary eyes choked back a sob and asked me carefully, "Are you Ava Smith, 17, from Hengshui Village?" I spit out my gum. "Yep," I croaked, my voice sounding like a dying duck in the silent room. "I'd been screaming too hard tonight. I'd have to ask my manager for a bonus." The woman couldn't hold it in anymore. She pulled me into a hug and burst into tears. "My poor daughter, you've suffered so much. I'm your mother, your real mother. I'll never lose you again." I was a little dazed. I looked past her and saw a distinguished, mature man take off his glasses to rub his eyes. I clenched my fists and just let her cry on me. A young man came over, helped the woman up, and looked me up and down with obvious distaste. Still, he led us over to the sofa. He told me he was my biological brother, Leo Song, which meant, of course, that the other man was my rich dad. The girl they were all clustered around, Luna, scooted a huge step back and covered her nose and mouth as I approached. I narrowed my eyes and frowned. My rich dad immediately leaned in and whispered something to her. The woman, who had just been sobbing her heart out, let go of my hand and turned to hug the other girl protectively, saying to me, "Luna is allergic to alcohol. Ava, have you been drinking?" I shook my head. I probably just reeked of the stuff. My dear brother immediately yanked me up and started hustling me towards the door like I had the plague. "Ava, you're still a student. From now on, you're forbidden from dressing like a call girl, and you can't be around alcohol. It could kill Luna." I slapped his hand away and stared at Luna. "So," I rasped, "you're the fake princess who's been enjoying my life of luxury for 17 years. The songs all froze, their expressions shifting from shock to guilt. Luna just lowered her eyes and didn't say a word. My rich dad jumped in to explain. "It has nothing to do with Luna. The one to blame is your adoptive mother, a nurse's aide at the Women and Children's Hospital back then. She was a heartless, vicious woman who swapped you with Luna when we weren't looking." Hearing my rich dad insult her birth mother like that, Luna bit her lip, her face flushing as two streams of tears ran down her cheeks. "Dad." Leo shot him a look, and my dad realized his mistake and shut up. Luna twisted her hands together, looking up with tear-filled eyes. "Mom, Dad," she asked timidly, "now that you've found my sister, are you still going to want me?" My mom hugged her tightly, cooing like she was a child. "Don't be silly. Luna, you're so good. You'll always be our pride and joy." "And my favorite little sidekick," Leo added, ruffling her hair. Luna wiped away her tears, snuggled into my mom's arms, and smiled, her eyes crinkling. What a happy, harmonious family. And then there was me, the odd one out. But I'd made it this far on my own. I didn't really care. Luna glanced up at me, a look of smug provocation in her eyes. Interesting. She had the exact same look as her mother. They wanted to take me home that night. The manager, who'd been eavesdropping by the door the whole time, came over and handed me a bottle of water. "My golden goose. The richest guy in the city is your dad? But you don't look too happy about it." I chugged some water to soothe my parched throat. "Hey, manager," I said, ignoring his question. "Can you pay me for tonight?" His eyes went wide. "You're the daughter of a billionaire, and you still care about a few bucks?" I held out my hand and gave him a little smile. Why shouldn't I take what I earned? I was about to head to the locker room, but Leo just dragged me straight into their luxury van. This clubbing outfit was borrowed from the DJ. I was supposed to give it back tonight. Whatever. My throat hurt too much to argue. My birth father, mother, and brother all sat huddled around Luna on the far side of the van, like they were protecting an endangered species. I glanced at them once, then turned to stare coolly out the window. My mom forced a smile. "Ava, your sister is allergic to alcohol. We haven't had a drop of it in our house since she was born." Please don't take it personally. I cleared my throat. A hothouse flower is so delicate, I said casually. Not like me. I'm like a weed. I could VE broken my leg and no one would VE cared. The only reasons I'm still alive are because I'm tough and I got lucky enough to meet someone as kind as Grandma Wong. Lucky? Is finding your rich family really that lucky? Ugh, what a messed up life. I let out a bitter laugh, and everyone went silent. But Luna, the center of all the attention, started whimpering. Ava, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault you've had such a hard life. Sobi. Seriously, she's crying again? Are her eyes faucets? I ripped off the pink wig I was wearing, ran my hands through my short, cropped hair and snapped. Could you please not cry like your mother just died? Anyone listening would think you're the one who suffered. You think a few crocodile tears are enough to pay for the 17 years of crime your mother committed? You want to say you're sorry? Show some real sincerity. I'm not asking for much. Go live with your birth mother for 1 year. Just 1 year, and I'll forgive you instantly. Luna immediately stopped crying. She trembled, shaking her head frantically while clinging to my parents' hands. My rich dad just pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration. My mom rubbed Luna's back soothingly before finally speaking to me. Ava, we owe you, and we'll spend our lives making it up to you. But what happened wasn't Luna's fault. We hope you one day take your anger out on her. Luna is gentle, innocent, and kind. Her apology was absolutely sincere. For our sake, can you please not be angry with her? She'll be a good sister to you. My eyes widened. Am I the one trying to get angry with her? She is practically begging me to tear into her. My brother, who clearly hadn't liked me from the start, took a deep breath, turned off the phone he'd been fiddling with, and looked at me seriously. Ava, watch your tone. We're all happy you're back with the family. We've always been a harmonious family, and I'm sure we can continue to be now that you're here. So from now on, can you please stop targeting Luna? And stay out of trashy places like clubs and bars. Mom and Dad have a certain status, and now you're a song heiress. You need to act like it. Be more like Luna. Learn to paint or play the piano. Attend parties with successful people. It will be good for your future. Luna excels at everything. If there's anything you don't understand in the future, you can ask her for help. My birth parents nodded along as he spoke, smiling at Luna as if she were the pride of the Song family. And the pride of the family, after a few words of praise, seemed to forget her earlier distress. She looked at me with wide, innocent eyes and started lecturing me. Sister, Leo is just saying this for your own good. Bars are seedy places. They're not for respectable people. If you want to listen to music, I can play the piano for you. The music in clubs is just loud, vulgar noise. It'll lower your class. On the surface, she sounded sincere, like she was just looking out for me. But underneath, she was calling me a tramp and saying I was low class. You don't really think I go there to listen to music and dance, do you? A princess truly doesn't understand the hardships of the common folk. I slapped the 20 ID just earned on the armrest. If your mother had shown me an ounce of mercy, a teenage girl like me wouldn't have to be working in a place like that in the middle of the night. Then I snatched the money back and stuffed it in my pocket, scoffing, this is my living expenses for a whole week. If I don't hide it, that crazy woman will just steal it from me. Luna's face went pale. Her high and mighty attitude vanished. Everyone else fell silent. I curled my lip in contempt. As if you're the only ones who can talk. I can take the punches life throws at me. But I'll be damned if I take an insult lying down. Especially from some manipulative girl who stole my life and doesn't even have the grace to feel bad about it. The Song family really lived up to their richest in the city title. Their 4-story mansion was like a palace, but to me it was just a place to sleep. The housekeeper had already prepared a room for me. I was exhausted, so after a quick wash, I collapsed into bed. I slept until morning. Crap, I was going to be late for school. I threw on my school uniform, grabbed my backpack, and burst out the door, leaping gracefully down the stairs from the 2nd floor in 2 steps. The housekeeper jumped, startled. Ava, come have breakfast. I screeched to a halt, frozen in a pose like a Greek statue. In the dining room, the whole family was staring at me. Their expressions were hard to describe. Oh. I straightened up, My energy suddenly drained and shuffled over. It was a square table, and they each occupied one side. The housekeeper quickly brought over another chair, but didn't seem to know where to put it. "Ma'am, you can put it between me and Mom," Luna said, ever so polite and considerate. My mom gave her an appreciative look, and my rich dad and Leo also nodded in approval. Luna then set a plate for me, filled with a Western-style breakfast I'd never had before. "Sister, Mom made all of this for you herself. Eat up. You probably don't usually get to eat things like this." I leaned back in my chair. "Ma'am," I said, raising my hand, "could you get me a pair of chopsticks, please?" "Thanks." Then I turned to Luna. "Yeah, you're right. Your mom was too busy glued to the mahjong table, beating and cursing me. I've begged for food, I fed pigs, I grew up eating scraps from our neighbors. The fact that I didn't starve to death is a miracle." Luna bit her lip, her eyes filled with venom. I realized that as long as I brought up her birth mom, she shut up real quick. "Little brat. Trying to play mind games with me? I'll annoy the hell out of you." But I did see a flicker of pain in my mother's eyes. She pulled out a bank card and a new phone. "Ava, there's 10,000 on this card. It's your allowance for the month. The phone has all of our numbers saved for you to contact us." I nodded and put the card and phone in my backpack. My rich dad then held a meeting-like speech, outlining 3 things: changing my name, transferring schools, and throwing a party to celebrate my return. The new name they gave me, Ava Song. I agreed to the other things but not transferring schools. The college entrance exams were right around the corner, and transferring now would be a huge disruption. "Sister, are you afraid you won't be able to keep up at a prep school?" "Don't worry, I'm top of my class. I can help you study." I focused on eating as fast as I could, ignoring her. The new house was too far from school. I didn't have time to waste on her, but I filed away her kind offer. They arranged for a private driver to take me to and from school. I have no idea who spread the news at school that I was the billionaire's daughter, but my classmates started looking at me with stars in their eyes. "Ava, you're so lucky. Not only are you smart, but you have such rich parents. Ava, don't forget us when you're famous. Quick, let me copy your homework. Ava, are you going to leave? Will we never see you again?" I gently pushed their heads away. "Don't worry, I'm here until the SATs. If I leave, it'll be for college." That house isn't as great as I'd hoped. The bell rang. Today was the second statewide mock exam. I had to give it more than ever before. This was my moment to shine. The one thing I could be proud of in my otherwise ruined life. After school, the driver took me back to my old village and waited from a distance. The clatter of mahjong tiles and the sound of men and women cursing and shouting came from the house. Through a crack in the window, I saw Chin with a cigarette dangling from her lips, her fat, sagging face grim, her sly eyes glued to the tiles. She expertly drew a tile while exhaling a cloud of smoke, then slammed it on the table, cursing and spitting. It was disgusting. I turned and went to Grandma Wang's house next door. Grandma Wang was widowed young and never remarried or had children. She treated me like her own granddaughter. When I was little and Chin wouldn't feed me, Grandma Wang would save half a bowl of rice for me from her own meager meals. I was too stubborn to accept it, so she had me help her feed the pigs in exchange. Feeding the pigs once earned me a big bowl of white rice. That was the happiest part of my childhood. Later, Grandma Wang took me scavenging, collecting scraps, and taught me which junkyard paid 2 cents more per pound. When Chin lost at mahjong, she'd take it out on me, hitting me hard. When I was 12, I followed her into the city. She found out and beat my leg with a stick as thick as my arm until it broke. Then she just left me there and went back to her mahjong game. It was Grandma Wang who took all the money she'd saved from scavenging, carried me on her back for 6 miles to the clinic, and got my leg treated. The leg healed, but it left a long, ugly scar. I didn't care. What was one more scar on an already broken body? I thought, maybe living with Grandma Wang for the rest of my life would be its own kind of happiness. But then Grandma Wang got sick recently and needed a lot of money. I looked at my tiny savings and felt helpless and furious. So, I made a deal with a local gangster. I had him leak the news to the Song family that I was their long-lost daughter. Whether the Songs accepted me or not, they'd pay him a handsome sum to save face. And it worked. The monthly allowance of the song heiress was enough to solve my most urgent problem. Ignoring Grandma Wang's protests, I scooped her frail body into my arms and carried her to the driver. I took Grandma Wang to the hospital, had a nurse help me find a caregiver for her, and then returned to the Song mansion. The grand banquet to celebrate my return was held on the weekend. Besides the Song family's relatives and friends, all the big shots in the city were there. The mansion was ablaze with lights and buzzing with excitement. Luna was wearing a white couture princess dress, chatting happily with a group of her peers. I chose a long black dress that covered me from head to toe. When my mother led me down the spiral staircase, all eyes were on me. The socialites and bigwigs, masters of flattery, all praised how my beauty was the spitting image of my mother's. Just as you'd expect from her own flesh and blood. Flesh and blood. Those words stung Luna, making her feel insecure. All this flattery used to be for her. Her eyes turned cold, looking at me as if I were an enemy about to steal all her glory. Our gazes met and I didn't look away. The moment we reached the bottom of the stairs, Luna switched back to her gentle, obedient expression, and came over with her friends. She took my arm and, with a hint of humility, introduced me to the other rich kids. The more she lowered herself, the more disgusted they looked at me. A girl who looked like a plastic Barbie doll snickered. "Luna, is this your country bumpkin sister? She's so covered up. Isn't she afraid of getting heat rash?" The rich kids found this hilarious and started laughing at me. Luna quickly jumped in to defend me. "Tiffany, don't say that about my sister. This is her first time at a fancy party like this. How would she know any better? Oh right. I heard she used to feed pigs. You guys think she smells like a pigsty?" Everyone backed away from me, and another wave of laughter erupted. I smirked. "Hey, whatever your name is, Tiffany." The plastic-faced girl, who was bent over laughing, covered her mouth. "What? You're so rude. You really are a hick from the country." I scoffed. "Your nose is crooked." She shrieked in terror, frantically touching her nose and then pulling out a compact mirror to inspect it obsessively. When she realized I was messing with her, she flew into a rage and lunged at me. I rolled my shoulders and cracked my knuckles. "I never said your nose is crooked now," I said calmly. "But it might be in a minute." The girl froze, not daring to move. Luna once again stepped in to speak for me. "Don't mind her. My sister grew up in the countryside. She's a bit wild and likes to joke around and get physical." Tiffany clung to Luna's arm, whining, "Luna, you're so sweet and kind. And so smart. You got a 685 on the state mock exams, first in your grade and 27th in the whole state. I wonder what place your sister ranked at her no-name high school. Ha ha." She shot me a dirty look as she finished. I tooted. "What place? You could just look it up. The statewide mock exam results are public." One of the rich kids said dismissively. I looked at the top 100. There's no other song on the list. She's probably not even in the top 500. Luna lifted her chin proudly. "My sister may not be great at school, but I promised to tutor her, so please stop making fun of her." "Oh," I said helpfully, "my original name was Ava Smith. Why don't you check again?" There were 2 seconds of silence. Then another rich kid stammered in shock. "Ava Smith, she's second. In the whole state." The smile froze on Luna's face. She snatched the phone, her breathing quickening as her eyes bulged in disbelief. I sneered internally. A bunch of arrogant idiots. It took a long moment for Luna to compose herself, her mouth twitching. "Wow, my sister sure is full of surprises, ha ha." She turned and pulled out a gift box, trying to change the subject. She smiled sweetly at me. "Sister, I picked this gift out for you myself. I hope you like it." I knew without even looking that the gift inside was expensive, and I was sure it was something useless to me, its only purpose being to humiliate the country bumpkin in this setting. So, I didn't take it. I knew Luna's weak spot, and I remembered her earlier kind offer. So I stared at the box and repaid her in kind. "Why don't you give this gift to your birth mother? If she cashes it in, she could probably live at the mahjong parlor for a week straight." Luna's face flushed crimson, tears welling in her eyes. "Sister, I meant well. Why do you have to be so cruel?" I raised an eyebrow. "Meant well? The nerve. Mom and Dad will give me anything I need. Your good intentions should be directed at your own mother. After all, She schemed to get you this life of luxury. You wouldn't want to be an ungrateful brat, would you? Tossing around your mom this and your mom that. I made Luna so embarrassed she probably wished the ground would swallow her whole. A tall, burly guy, looking at Luna with pure adoration, stood up, grabbed my collar, and loomed over me. You'd better apologize to Luna. I don't care if you're Mr. Song's daughter, I won't go easy on you. Hey big guy, you're in such a hurry to defend her. You must have a crush on her, right? What do you like about her? The fact that she's a master manipulator? Should I go tell my parents you two should get engaged or something? They'll agree to anything I say right now. Ava Song, that's enough. What nonsense are you spouting? Luna shrieked, looking like she wanted to kill me. I shrugged. See? She's not into it. The big guy, humiliated and furious, shoved me hard, the force of it ripping the sleeve off my useless designer dress. I stumbled back several steps, crashing into a row of drink tables. Crystal glasses filled with juice shattered all over the floor. I landed in the middle of it all, my dress soaked. With a flick of my wrist, I tore the long skirt into a mini skirt, revealing the ugly scar I had carefully hidden. Except for my face and neck, there wasn't a single patch of unblemished skin on my body. A gasp went through the hall. How could such a young girl have so many horrible scars? I raised an eyebrow at Luna and smiled triumphantly. My mom was the first to break, rushing to me with tears streaming down her face. My daughter, what have you been through? Oh God. Even Leo had a flicker of shock in his eyes. My rich dad's brow was so furrowed you could kill a mosquito in it. I patted my mom's back and handed her over to Leo. I wasn't going to bring this up, but since things have gotten to this point, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you, Mom and Dad, for one thing. I want you to sue Chin. This whole body of mine is the evidence. And I can tell you the story behind every single scar. This one is from when Chin lost at Mahjong and smashed an ashtray on me. This huge one is from when she let her dog attack me. The one on my leg needed 18 stitches after she broke it with a wooden stick. And this one. Most of the guests and friends had heard my story, but they didn't know the details. Seeing my shocking injuries, they were outraged on my behalf, their glares like daggers aimed at Luna behind me. Inhuman. What kind of monster would do that to a child? She's a demon, not a human being. She needs to face justice. I can't watch this, it's too horrible. I don't know how this poor girl survived. My rich dad stepped forward, his face full of guilt. Ava, that's enough. I shut my mouth as he asked. I didn't want to relive those painful memories either. Every time I remembered, it was like being flayed alive. This would be the last time. The butler promptly saw the guests out. It was time for a closed-door discussion. To my surprise, all three of them unanimously decided not to press charges against Chin. Ava, my rich dad said, we will make up for what you've suffered, but let's just drop the idea of suing Chin. My heart went cold. I turned to my mom. Is that what you think, too? My mom, her eyes still red from crying, gritted her teeth and nodded. Ava, karma will get her eventually. Chin will pay for what she did. Please don't make things difficult for us and for Luna, okay? I slumped onto the sofa, defeated. Can I know why? I asked with a bitter laugh. All three of them looked at Luna with pity and affection. Leo, who had been silent, sat down next to me. Ava, he said earnestly, if we sue Chin, she'll definitely go to prison. That would have a terrible impact on Luna's future. We watched Luna grow up. She's considerate, respectful, and smart. We can't bear to see her future ruined because of a monster like her birth mother. We'll love you twice as much from now on. Can you understand why we're doing this? Faced with this kind of emotional blackmail, I was speechless. I wasn't heartbroken when they doted on Luna. I wasn't heartbroken when they criticized me for being unrefined. But now, after I'd revealed the scars I'd earned with my life, hearing them refuse to hold my abuser accountable, my heart turned to ice. I stood up weakly and let out a small huff. I get it. But let me give you a little warning. I've fought with people. I've fought with dogs for scraps. I have a bad temper. So keep a close eye on Luna. As long as she doesn't start anything with me, I have no interest in bothering anyone. As for Chin, she will pay. If you won't do it, then I'll do it myself. With the SATs just around the corner, I had to give it my all. Only by relying on myself could I escape this dark prison of a life. Every day before returning to the mansion, I would go see Grandma Wang. Her surgery, thank God, had been a success, and the caregiver was taking good care of her. Back at the mansion, aside from meals, I spent most of my time in my room studying. On another weekend, my parents and brother were invited to a banquet, leaving just Luna and me at home. I studied until 8, then went downstairs for a glass of water. Just as I was about to go back to my room, Luna blocked my way. Ava Song, stop right there. Ever since the family took her side and decided not to go after Chin, Luna didn't even bother pretending around me anymore. No more tears, no more fake humility. She spoke to me with the tone of the real Miss Song. I rolled my eyes and tried to walk past her. Just then, the housekeeper passed by downstairs, and Luna's face instantly changed. Sister, Mom and Dad are out. Can you talk with me for a bit? If I just pushed past her, the family would hear about it and call me rude again. Besides, I was curious to see what kind of twisted plan she'd cooked up this time. I snapped my fingers at the housekeeper downstairs. She looked up and called out, Mississippi Ava, Mississippi Luna. Ma'am, could you come up here for a second? The housekeeper came up and stood against the wall, between me and Luna. I smiled. Ma'am, I need you to be a witness, just in case someone decides to grab my hand and throw themselves down the stairs, and then blame it on me. The housekeeper froze, looking at us with a confused expression. Luna looked like a thief who'd just been caught, her face a whirlwind of emotions. I sneered. All right. What did you want to talk about? The floor is yours. Ma'am, stand back a bit. Luna snapped at the housekeeper. I need to tell my sister a secret. The housekeeper only moved away after she saw me nod. Luna flashed a triumphant smile. Sister, what college are you applying to? I want to make sure I don't accidentally end up at the same one. Don't worry. You couldn't get into the schools I'm aiming for. Luna's face darkened, her tone icy. Ava Song, what's so great about good grades? Your parents still don't love you. You're their real daughter, but I'm the one they prefer, the one who was swapped at birth. She successfully got under my skin. I gritted my teeth and glared at her. Luna pressed her advantage. Ava Song, I'll tell you something else, but you can't tell Mom, okay? Seeing me too angry to speak, she looked incredibly smug. Dad actually knew about you a long time ago. He just didn't want to come find you. Do you know why? What did you say? I seethed. Because he knew that growing up in that environment, you'd be rotten to the core. Even if he brought you back, you'd be beyond saving. It was better to just give you up. Every word was a knife to the heart. I was furious. I picked up my glass and threw the water in her face. She lowered her head, then looked up with a sinister smile that sent a shiver down my spine. My dear sister, you fell for it. Then she collapsed, clutching her face and writhing on the floor, screaming. Ah, my face. Help me help. Sister, why did you throw alcohol on me? You knew I was allergic. Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance. And at that exact moment, the rest of the family walked through the door, having just returned from their banquet. They saw everything. Leo immediately ran up the stairs in 3 bounds and scooped Luna into his arms. When she moved her hands, her face was covered in a red rash. My rich dad rushed over and demanded to know what happened from the housekeeper. The housekeeper didn't know what we had said, only that she saw me throw water on Luna. My rich dad snatched the cup from my hand, sniffed it, and glared at me. Why is there alcohol in this cup? Before I could explain, he raised his hand and slapped me, hard, shattering the cup, and shattering my heart. My head snapped to the side, and I tasted blood. You really are rotten to the core. He roared at me. I never should have brought you back. It took me a second to process it. So what Luna had just said was true. My mom was sobbing uncontrollably, more heartbroken than when she'd seen my scars. Ava Song, how could you be so cruel? Have you learned nothing of the values we tried to teach you? Did you only learn Chin's viciousness? Leo stared at me with pure hatred, as if he wanted to kill me with his eyes, before carrying Luna off to the hospital. The once noisy mansion was suddenly terrifyingly silent. So the glass had been tampered with. I watched the drama conclude, my anger replaced by a silent, cold laugh. Luna said those things to provoke me, to make me throw something at her. I just gave her what she wanted. She must have thought her plan was perfect, that she'd won another round and might even get me kicked out of the family. But how could she know that she wasn't the one setting me up, but that I was the one waiting in the wings? I had a very big surprise ready for them. The next day, I went to school as usual. Even the driver looked at me with resentment. Luna was smart, well-mannered, and would humbly ask her brother for help with her studies. This fed Leo's ego and met her parents' expectations for a good child. So the whole Song family adored her. Even the butler, housekeeper, and driver preferred her. If her carefully constructed mask were to be torn away, would they still love her, still defend her? I really wanted to see that. It would be very interesting. That evening, I went to see Grandma Wang as usual. I even thought about staying the night at the hospital. That house was suffocating me. Grandma Wang didn't know what had happened, only that I had found my rich parents and could now live a stable life. As she said this, she couldn't help but shed a few tears. You won't have to suffer anymore, my dear Ava. Grandma is so happy for you. I held her hand and said softly, Grandma, once I get into college, I'll take you with me and we'll leave this place. I'll take care of you in your old age. Grandma Wang beamed, unable to stop smiling as she urged me to go back home. When I returned to the mansion, the Song family was sitting grimly in the living room, apparently waiting for me. Seeing me enter, my rich dad said to the butler in a heavy voice, Bring the whip. The butler respectfully brought out a short, reddish-brown whip. For a moment, I was stunned. Leo had already forced me to my knees. My rich dad's expression was stern. Ava Song, do you admit you were wrong? I did nothing wrong. You're going to whip me without even getting the facts straight? How is that any different from that monster Chin? Whip her. The butler apologized, and then the whip came down on my back. I gritted my teeth and let out a muffled grunt. My back felt like it was splitting open. The pain was excruciating. After a few moments, I steadied my breathing and straightened my spine. I did nothing wrong. I threw plain water. If there was alcohol in it, you should ask Luna. My mom knelt beside me, crying. Ava, just admit you were wrong to your father. Go apologize to Luna, and this will all be over, okay? I did nothing wrong. Keep whipping her. Crack. Crack. I bit down hard, refusing to make a sound, but I couldn't withstand the searing pain and collapsed onto the floor. Panting heavily, I murmured, Is this what you meant by loving me twice as much? My rich dad crouched in front of me, his eyes cold. You can go back to school when you've figured things out and apologize to Luna. You're lucky Luna is out of danger and will be fine. Otherwise, I would have beaten you to death. With that, he walked away without a second glance. Leo didn't want to look at me either, and followed his father upstairs to Luna's room. My mom helped me up onto the sofa, told the housekeeper to put ointment on my back, and then left, wiping her tears. I had planned to wait until after the SATs to give them my surprise, but clearly, they couldn't wait. I sat on the sofa all night. The next morning, the Song family came downstairs, helping Luna to breakfast, ignoring me completely. I walked dejectedly to the dining table and said to my rich dad, Dad, I know I was wrong. My rich dad's face remained cold. You should be apologizing to Luna. I know. I've thought it through. Since I'm going to apologize, I should do it with sincerity. I want to hold a press conference in your name to properly apologize to my sister Luna, and to praise her for her forgiveness and generosity. I also want to show everyone my resolve to live in harmony with my sister, and everyone else from now on. I said it with such sincerity I almost moved myself to tears. My rich dad looked at me in surprise, finally nodding after a moment. The return of the Song heiress is a major event. Right now, only the people at the party know. It's only right to hold a press conference and announce it to the public. It will also be great for the company's reputation. My mom pulled me down to sit, smiling happily. Now that's my good girl. Luna shot me a provocative look and a triumphant smile. At Luna's request, the press conference was held the day after she recovered, just 10 days before the SATs. The conference room was packed with reporters from every outlet and influencers looking for clout. Leo hosted the event. My parents sat in the front row beaming. Luna sat on the stage smiling and waving at the reporters, striking various poses for the cameras. I stood beside her, My face blank, my eyes fixed on the entrance to the room. Only when I saw the familiar, trembling figure of Chin appear in my line of sight, did I let out a long, relieved sigh. Now that everyone was here, I signaled that we could begin. Leo was good at the corporate speak. He first introduced me as the long-lost song heiress and gave a brief, glossed-over account of how I was switched at birth. He droned on for half an hour before finally getting to the main event. Leo handed me the microphone and went to sit with his parents. I took a deep breath, met my parents' hopeful gazes, and began. Hello, friends from the press and all our guests. I'm standing here today not just to be welcomed back into my family, but more importantly, to apologize to my sister, who has been enjoying my life of wealth and comfort for 17 years. You all know we were switched at birth, right? A sea of cameras flashed, all pointed at Luna and me. Why am I apologizing? Because I knowingly threw alcohol on my dear sister, despite knowing she's allergic, which sent her to the emergency room and almost killed her. A wave of murmurs went through the crowd. My father has already disciplined me for it. My rich dad's face suddenly changed. Of course, it's not that he doesn't love me. He just can't stand to see the girl who replaced me suffer even a little bit. An awkward silence. Ha ha ha, just kidding. The room stirred again. My father simply doesn't love me at all. The song's faces grew darker and darker. You could hear a pin drop. But back to the main topic. To get ready, please give me 10 seconds. I pulled a bottle of liquor I'd hidden in a corner, unscrewed the cap, and went back on stage. I'll just have a drink to build up my courage. It's my first time doing this after all. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Ah. The faces of the song family members turned pale. I stood in front of Luna and said solemnly, Luna, I was wrong to throw watered-down liquor on you last time. So I apologize to you. I'm sorry. Luna held her head high, like a queen accepting a peasant's surrender, and opened her mouth to speak. But I didn't give her the chance. I cut her off. So this time I brought some high-proof stuff, no water added. Give this a try. Ignoring the shouts of protest from the song family, I lifted my hand and poured the entire bottle over Luna's head. Ah! Luna's shriek echoed through the conference room. Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! My rich dad yelled, losing all composure. Following the family's lead, the room descended into chaos. I watched them run around like headless chickens and laughed. My calm voice boomed from the microphone. Dad, you've been tricked by Chin. See? Your precious daughter is perfectly fine, isn't she? Luna sat frozen in her seat, stunned. The allergic reaction she was supposed to have never came. The song family stared at Luna, then at each other. For so long it felt like time had stopped. In case they didn't get it, I explained further. Luna isn't allergic to alcohol at all. The whole, I almost died because she threw alcohol on me thing was a complete act she staged to frame me. With Luna herself as the living proof, she had no defense. The room erupted. I can't believe a girl that young could be so malicious, putting herself in danger just to frame someone else. That's terrifying. A person like that in society is a ticking time bomb. I thought the Song family was so respectable. How could they raise such a black-hearted person? Facing a torrent of accusations, the Song family was utterly humiliated. This was probably the most disgraceful moment of their lives. Luna's face was as white as a sheet. Under the scornful gazes and mocking words of the crowd, she was mortified, tears streaming down her face as she sobbed uncontrollably. Leo asked with difficulty, Luna, did you really frame Ava? Why? My rich dad, refusing to give up, rushed onto the stage, grabbed Luna's shoulders, and shook her violently. Why aren't you having a reaction? Why not? Watching their ugly display, I just felt disgusted. That was just an excuse Chin made up, preying on your sympathy, so you would choose to raise Luna. The weak need more love, don't they, Dad? My rich dad's gaze flickered between me and Luna. Suddenly, he screamed like a madman. Liar! Liar! You're all liars! Luna trembled, crying softly, no, it's not like that, it's not. My mom finally sensed something was wrong. She looked at me with terrified eyes. Ava, what do you mean? Mark Song. You saw Chin again after that, didn't you? Huh. Say something. I started to feel a little sorry for my mother. Oh, my dear mother, Luna was always Dad's daughter with Chin. Right, Chin? Following my gaze, Everyone turned to look at Chin at the entrance. Her face was puffy and worn, her eyes venomous. "You framed my daughter. I'll kill you, you little bastard." Chin shrieked, grabbing a chair and rushing toward me. Ha! Did she think she was still in her house where she could do whatever she wanted? Before she could even get close, security had her pinned down. "You little witch. You deliberately lured me here. You ruined Luna. You'll die a horrible death." Everyone was stunned by this explosive revelation. After a moment of shock, they all turned their cameras on my rich dad and Chin, asking for a comment. My usually composed rich dad completely lost it, shoving reporters and screaming at them to get out. My elegant mother also abandoned all pretense of decorum, crazily hitting and tearing at my rich dad. Leo, no longer the gentleman, viciously threw Luna to the ground. The scene was pure chaos. The taste of misplaced trust, of being deceived and played for a fool, of guilt and regret. It doesn't feel good, does it? I despised every single one of them equally. Seeing as they couldn't get a straight answer out of the two main culprits, the reporters turned their attention to me. So, while they were busy fighting, I told the reporters a story. Ever since I could remember, Chin would go to the city once a year. And every time she came back, she would beat me viciously and forbid me from calling her mom. I didn't know why back then, but now I understood. She must have seen her own daughter, Luna, being close to my real mother, and she was jealous and hateful. When I was 12, I followed her to the city and saw her holding a little girl's hand, smiling with a tenderness I had never seen. That's when I knew she wasn't always so vicious, just to me. There was a man standing next to her, a younger version of my rich dad. Chin told him she was raising me well, and there was nothing to worry about, so the man never asked any more questions. But on the way back, Chin discovered I had followed her. She dragged me home and broke my leg. After that, she never went to the city again. She didn't have to work, she just played mahjong all day. I guess the man gave her money. She said she was taking good care of me, but in reality, she never gave me a single penny. A seed of doubt was planted in my young mind. This woman might not be my mother, and that man might be my father. I worked hard, scavenging, collecting scrap, washing dishes, and saved up enough money to secretly get a DNA test done. The moment I got the results, I was so happy I could have flown. Chin really wasn't my mother. A mother would never abuse her own child. As for how Chin got pregnant with my dad's child, I honestly have no idea. I finished my story nonchalantly. When I looked up, I saw several reporters wiping away tears. The news of the Song family's scandalous drama spread like wildfire across every news outlet and social media platform. Overnight, the Song family name was ruined. My parents got a divorce and became strangers. Because my rich dad's actions damaged the company's reputation and severely hurt its profits, several shareholders joined forces and kicked him out. All his assets were used to cover the company's losses. Just like that, my rich dad was left with nothing. My now poor dad's personality changed completely. He became extremely volatile, and when he left the mansion with Luna, he would frequently beat her and call her a jinx. My mom sued Chin, who probably won't touch a mahjong tile for the rest of her life, which is a fate worse than death for her. Later, I was successfully admitted to my dream university. Luna didn't even take the SATs. I moved out of the mansion and found a quiet apartment with Grandma Wang. Before the semester started, my mom and brother found me. They apologized several times and invited me to come home, but I refused each time. A shattered crystal glass can't be put back together, and neither can a broken heart. My mom cried endlessly, knowing she could never make it up to me. She just kept transferring money to my bank account. I accepted it without any guilt. Aside from my normal expenses, I didn't squander it. Once I graduate and find a job, I will return this card, the last remaining link between us. Now we owe each other nothing. On the first day of school, I took Grandma Wang and my few belongings and headed happily to the train station, towards my own new life. Keep moving forward, and the future is bright. I know things will only get better for me. The end.